Hello, this is Sarah from smallbusinesssarah.com, and today I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily record your Etsy sales and fees within QuickBooks using my Etsy bank method. But this time I actually went out and I hired a programmer, a developer, and he helped me create a web application that's going to calculate your monthly Etsy journal entry for you. And I am so excited to show this to you. So if you're familiar with me at all, you'll know that I have another video all about the Etsy bank method. And in that video, it covers how to record your Etsy sales and fees and how to create the journal entry and how to do that manually. So this is the same idea, except in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the web application to create the journal entry automatically without having to spend some time doing calculations. So first, before we dive into the app, let's talk very quickly about why we need a system, a method, what I call the Etsy bank method for recording our sales and fees within QuickBooks for Etsy. And the reason is because within Etsy, there's no report that tells you what exactly is included in each deposit. So what sales and what fees. It's just all mushed together, and there's no report that tells you exactly what's going on within each deposit. So the easiest workaround is to do one monthly journal entry to record all of our sales and fees for the month, because we can run reports in Etsy on a monthly basis. So we're going to work with what we have, which is monthly reports. And because Etsy leaves a little bit of money in their account available for deposit each month, that's what we're calling our Etsy bank amount. So the amount that's sitting there at Etsy waiting to be deposited at the end of each month. Okay, so let's get started with what we need to do and the reports that we need in order to create this journal entry. So we're going to do the month of December 2018. So from Finances, go to Payment Account. We're going to scroll down. We're going to do See All Monthly Statements, and we're going to select December of 2018. Okay, so on this page, there are two things that we need. The first is we're going to click this button here to download the CSV file, and that should go to most likely to your download folder. If you're on a Mac, don't mess with this file, don't open it and save it differently. We need it to be in this Excel sort of CSV file format. Okay. And I actually already have, this is what it looks like, and I've actually saved it already so that I know where it is on my computer. Okay. Next, on this screen, we need to know our ending Etsy balance. So most of the time, that would be this number right here. The 1622 would be our ending Etsy balance, the amount that's sitting there waiting to be deposited at the end of the month. But December was a unique month, and this works out. I can point this out to you now so that if it happens in the future, then you'll know what to do. In this case, this last deposit on December 31st, although Etsy is subtracting it from the ending balance here, it actually did not hit anybody's bank account until January. All the clients that I've worked with, they have this December 31st payment by Etsy, does not hit the bank until January. So for our purposes, this is still in Etsy's hands as of December 31st. We don't have that yet in our bank account, and so that's going to be part of our number. So if you add those two numbers together, and I should have written this down in advance. Let's see, it's going to be, 15 and 6 and 4, 46.15. I think I'm calculating quickly on the fly. We'll see if I'm correct at the end. If not, I'll do a little math. Okay, so jot that number down while you're on this screen, the amount of your ending balance. Like I said, most of the time, it's actually going to be this amount right here. Okay, the next report we need, we're going to go to Settings, Options, Download Data, we're going to get a CSV file. The CSV file type is orders. Make sure you select the correct month and the correct year, and then download that CSV file. Like I said, I already have that saved. Okay, so on the QuickBooks end, we're going to go to, in our sample company, let's go to the checking account. And anytime we see a deposit from Etsy, we are going to categorize that to Etsy Bank. So we've created an Etsy Bank account, like a checking account in QuickBooks. The other video covers how to do that. And we're simply going to add each and every deposit is going to go to Etsy Bank. And I'm going to show you how this all works together at the end. We don't want to do a rule right now. Okay, so that's all we have to do on that end of things. Next step is to generate our entry over here. So I'm going to include this link in the information below this video. But at smallbusinesssarah.com/Etsy entry app, you can find this. Here's a brief recap of how to use the app. Little bit of information here. And right now the app is free, although it does cost money for me to maintain it and update it. So if you would like to make a suggested donation, you can, but you do not have to. So down here to the app, the first thing we need to do is select our sales tax state. So the first one is going to be the state in which you live in. And make sure you select this, or else your entry is not going to turn out correctly. If you have sales tax that you collect in a different state, you're going to want to select that here as well. For example, if your manufacturer is in a different state and you collect sales tax from customers in that state as well, you would select that. Otherwise, just keep that at none, but make sure you select your home state right here. Now we're going to upload our CSV files. Choose File to upload. The first one is the orders. So we've got that right here. Select it. And like I said, I knew where these files were on my computer, so you kind of need to know where they went when you download them from Etsy. And then this statement is right here. And then I'm going to just hit this button. And it's going to think for a minute, and then it's going to spit out our entry. Okay, back to this page, scroll down. And here is our entry. And we're just going to follow exactly what this says and see how it works out. So if we come, and for my purposes, I've already written down these numbers so that I could quickly refer to them while I'm creating this video. You could do a split screen or something like that. Pay attention to the credits and the debits. You're going to need to know that when it comes time to do your entry. So over here at the entry at QuickBooks, we're going to do the plus sign and do a journal entry. Okay, we're going to date the journal entry as of the last day of the month that we're doing the entry for. So December 31st, and I like to label it with a little something like that. We're just going to go down the list of figures that was generated for us. So the first one is our shipping income, sub-account of Etsy income, and we're going to do 98.20. And I have other videos on how to create your custom chart of accounts, so be sure to look for those. Remember, from the list, the shipping income was a credit. Next is your sales tax payable, and that was a 0 in my case. You'll notice that QuickBooks is trying to balance the debits and credits. That's because in accounting, your debits and credits have to agree. By the end of your entry, they have to be the same. We're not ready for them to balance our entry, so we're just going to hit 0 and move on, and they're going to eliminate that helpful little thing right there. Okay, so now we're on to listing fees. And that's a debit of $10.60. So all of your fees are going to be debits most likely, unless you had some crazy refund thing. That's not the marketing advertising I want. I want Etsy advertising or Etsy marketing, whatever you choose to call it. Now we're going to do our shipping expense, shipping fees. Yes, that's correct. Next, we'll do our transaction fees. Notice all these fees are debits, but follow the entry. It's going to tell you that they're debits. Order processing fee, $20.01. Sales, Etsy sales. Let's back up. And I'm just typing in the first few letters, and then I know that QuickBooks is going to find the account that I'm looking for, if you're wondering on that end. Etsy sales income. And then finally, Etsy Bank. Etsy Bank. And QuickBooks filled that in automatically for me, but that also agrees to the journal entry printed out or calculated by the app. So let's talk briefly about what's going on here in this entry. So basically, those CSV files, there's different columns, and there's summing and subtracting and choosing right columns and sorting that's going on behind the scenes with the Etsy application. Like I said, I have another video that shows you how that's done manually, so that you can rest assured that everything's being done correctly if you would like. But basically what we're doing is we're recording all of our income for the month, our sales plus our shipping and our sales tax payable. So this is basically all the money that came in. Sales, shipping income, sales tax payable. Okay? And then this is all the money that went out for the month. All of our fees, transaction, order processing, listing, advertising, and the net amount. So all the money that came in less all the money that went out is the amount available for deposit during the month. And that amount goes to Etsy Bank. So let's go ahead and hit Save and Close. Now we're going to pull up our Etsy Bank register. If you are on any account here, you can simply hit Go to Register. Etsy Bank's not going to appear there, but once you're on this screen, you can pull up the Etsy Bank register. I use registers all the time. So let's come here and take a look at what happened in December. So these are all the deposits that happened during the month of December that we recorded to Etsy Bank. This was our beginning balance right here at the end of November. And actually the other video, that's the month that we did to get to that ending balance. So then at December 31st, we record our big entry, and that is the amount that was available for deposit during the month. And the ending balance is $46.15. And if you'll recall, that agrees to what we calculated in Etsy. Now, that was that in my head calculation that I was doing quickly. Let me show you again. Okay, so usually it's going to be this number, but remember how I told you this, we did not get that money as of December 31st. I'm going to show you that here. Look when we got that money. We didn't get that money until January 2nd. So for our purposes, that until we had that money, that was still sitting at Etsy. So that's why when you add up 1622 plus the 29.93, you get the 46.15, and we agree. So that tells you that the Etsy entry was correct, that everything is working. The total sales minus the fees minus the deposits is giving us the correct ending balance. So everything is perfect. Now, if you are off by a couple of dollars, you could try the manual method and see if that produces a different answer than the app produces. It's a possibility, and if you find an error in the app calculation, just shoot me an email, let me know, so that I can have the program updated to account for different anomalies that maybe different CSV reports are handling things differently. That is happening in some cases. But if when you do the manual calculation, you're still off, I have noticed with several clients that even when the calculation is right on, I'm off by a couple dollars at the end of the month. And when I dig deeper, what I am finding is that, let's come back over here, that the activity listed here, so the activity that makes up the statement and the activity that influences our ending balance is not always jiving 100% with that Etsy statement. Now they should. I mean, we really need to rely on these reports from Etsy. Most of the time, it's a timing difference. So for example, maybe the promoted listings fee, although it shows here, didn't make it onto that CSV file, and we're off by 34 cents. So rather than getting upset or worked up about it, or rather than spending tons of time investigating 34 cents, what I do, because it'll net out in the end, I'm going to show you, I'm selecting the journal entry, I'm going back into the journal entry, is I've been fudging the numbers through like a transaction fee account. So let's say we were off by that 35 cents or so. If you need your Etsy bank number, if that needs to be higher in order to balance, then lower that number. If the Etsy bank number needs to be lower, then raise that amount. So it's the opposite. Whatever you want the Etsy bank number to do, decrease or increase, do the opposite to there. I only do that for a couple of dollars because the time that it would take to track down the difference is not worth my time. And oftentimes what I'm finding is that the error is on Etsy's end. It's an error between the timing of what they are reporting to us here and what they're including on their statement. So that was just a little piece of advice there. So I'm going to hit save and close because we are very happy with our entry. So that is the Etsy entry app. Rather than you wading through the CSV files, sorting, summing, calculating, I think you could see how very, very quickly the Etsy app created that entry for us. Simply follow the credits, the debits, and the amounts. Put them in your journal entry. Make sure you do the journal entry as of the correct date. Make sure you choose the correct state whenever you upload your files to the app. And honestly, then you should be good to go. I hope this is a huge help to you as you record your Etsy sales and Etsy fees within QuickBooks each month. That is my hope, that it saves you tons of time and energy and is a big, big help to you. Look below in the description section of this video on YouTube for references that I made to other videos and a link to this web application site. And if this has been helpful to you, then I would really appreciate a subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day.